Hello everyone, welcome to GATE Academy. So we have discussed logical operators, logical and logical OR. Sir, how logical and used to work out? We know. Sir, if we have A, logical and B, sir, what is the result? What is the result? Sir, the result is true. If I talk about output or value, then it is 1 if both the operands are non-zero. Sir, what do you mean by non-zero? Non-zero is nothing but true. So result will be true only if both the operands are true and the result is 0 or false. You can think of it like this way, because the result is always 0 or 1. Result is always 0 or 1. Result is 1 or true, think of it as true, yes, or 0. Sir, when it is 1, if both the operands are non-zero, otherwise it is false. That means, sir, what is the output of 2 and 5? Sir, non-zero and non-zero, the result will be 1. Sir, minus 2 and minus 5. Sir, minus 2 is again non-zero, minus 5 is again non-zero, non-zero, the result is 1. Sir, 0 and 5, see, is it non-zero? No, sir. So, the result will be 0. You can think of logical AND as mathematical multiplication. So, if I ask you A multiply B and think about non-zero or 0, think about output as non-zero or 0. So, if I say when could be the result of A multiply B is non-zero? Sir, only when both A and B are non-zero. If any one of them is 0, the result will be 0. Sir, if A is 0, 0 into B, sir, it is 0. If B is 0, sir, result is 0. If both are 0, the result is 0. So, in only one case, the result is non-zero, when both of them are non-zero. And that's how A and B also work. Sir, if A is non-zero and B is non-zero, then this whole statement is true. What is the meaning of true? That means the output or value associated with this operation is 1. Otherwise, it is false. Done, sir? Done, sir? That means, sir. What about OR operator? Sir, how does OR operator works? OR operator says if at least one of them is non-zero, that means the result or output is 1. The result or output is 1 if at least one of them, at least one among A, B is non-zero. At least one. What we want, at least one is non-zero. Basically, at least one is true. Okay, sir. And it is 0 otherwise. So, if I ask you 2 or 6, sir, what we want? At least one non-zero. Here, both of them are non-zero. That means, can I say the result is 1? Yes, of course. What if I say 0 or 6? Sir, at least one. One is non-zero. That's why the output is 1. Sir, 0 or minus 7. Again, sir, at least one is non-zero. That's why the result is 1. But, if I ask you 0 or 0, sir, both of them are false. None of them is true or none of them is non-zero. That's why the output would be 0. Try to understand first. We have covered logical operators and we are discussing here logical and logical OR. That we know, sir, that this all we know. Okay, let me discuss something called as short circuit evaluation. So, short circuit evaluation or short circuit property of logical and logical OR. Okay, sir, we have A and B. Okay, and We are saying the result will be true only when both of them are true. Okay. If any of them is 0, then what would be the result? Sir, the result would be 0. Okay. Sir, let us suppose I say that it is given that the value of A is 0. It is given that the value of A is 0, and try to understand, if I know that the value of A is 0, see, think like compiler. Sir, compiler evaluates this like this. If the first operand is 0, if the first operand is 0, sir, tell me something. 0 and let us suppose this is B. Sir, does it matter what is the value of B? Sir, if B is non-zero, the result will be 0. Even if the B is 0, the result is still 0. Why it is so? Because sir, if anyone among A and B is 0, the result will be 0. Try to understand again. Sir, I am saying something like this. Sir, 0 and something. If I ask you what is the result, do I need to know what is this value? Does the result is affected by this value? No, sir. Whether this value is non-zero or 0, the result is for sure 0. Why? Because first operand is 0. Try to understand. It is something like that if I say 0 multiplied by B, what is the result? Sir, in mathematics, does it matter whether B is non-zero or 0? Sir, 0 multiplied by anything is 0. So, if I ask 0 multiplied by B, can you tell me the result? Do you need to know what is the value of B? No, sir. No, sir. It does not matter what is the value of B, whether 12, whether 2, whether -2 or 0. It does not. The result will not be affected by the value of B. So, do we need to know B? No, sir. We do not need to know B in such case. Try to understand this. Okay, sir. Let me again elaborate this. 0 multiplied by some expression. Do I need to evaluate this expression? To find out the value of this whole? No, sir. It does not matter what is the value of this expression. The result will be 0, because 0 multiplied by something is 0. So, think like compiler now. Sir, 0 ANDing with anything is always 0. So, do we need to know what is the value of B? Do we need to evaluate this? Do we need to perform this? Do we need to know what is B? No, sir. So, think like compiler. If compiler gets to know that the first operand, or you can say LHS value is 0, will compiler ever go to this expression? Will compiler need to evaluate this? No, sir. That means compiler will never evaluate second operand. Compiler will never go to second operand. That is, it never goes to second operand. Why? Because only by looking at first operand, in case the first operand is 0. See, I am talking about only that case in which the first operand is 0. When compiler see, okay, the first operand is 0, do I need to evaluate the second operand? Do I need to check second operand whether it is non-zero or 0? No, sir. So, compiler will never go to second operand in case the first operand is 0. So compiler will never go to this, no matter what will happen. So this is called as short circuit operation for AND. For AND. Sir, what is short circuit operation? Try to understand this. If the first operand, of logical AND is 0, then compiler will not evaluate, will not perform, or you can say will not go to second operand, and this is called as short circuit evaluation for logical AND. Try to understand this. Done, sir? Done. Sir, if someone asks me that void main int x is equal to 10, printf or int x equal to 10, y is equal to 0 and x, printf %d comma y. Sir, what will happen? See, sir, if the first operand is 0, compiler will never go to this operation and the result will be 0. 0 and something is 0, and that is the value that get associated with y. No issue at all. Okay. But now you get to know how things work and why we need to understand short circuit evaluation. Sir, int x is equal to 10, y is equal to 0 and x plus plus, printf %d comma x comma y. We have hash include stdio dot h. Sir, what is the result now? What is the result? Think for a moment, just pause the video and try to get the answer by yourself. Sir, this is post increment. We will think about post increment, how post increment work. Array, just look at the code. Sir, for this end, this is the second operation. This is the second operand. But, sir, for this end, the first operand is 0. If the first operand is 0, do the compiler need to go at second operand? No, sir. That means this operation will never be encountered by the compiler. So, no matter whether it is a post increment or pre-increment or anything else, this will never going to increment. This will never going to perform. That means, sir, what is the value of x? The value of x is 10. Okay. Sir, does this evaluated? No. What is the result, sir? 0 and something 0 get stored in y. So, what are the values, sir? Will x be incremented? No, dear, x will not be incremented. What is the output? Sir, the output would be 10 and 0. 10 and 0. Okay, sir. Done. But, sir, short circuit, we get to know. Okay. What if I ask you? Try to understand. If first operand is non-zero, can you tell me the answer? No, sir. Now, see, if first operand is 0, we are saying it is as short circuit. Why? Because if first operand is 0, we don't need to go to second operand to find out the answer, to find out the output, to find out what is the outcome of our logical AND operator. But if I say first operand is non-zero, see, if it is 0, that means short circuit for sure. If it is non-zero, then then what could be the result? Sir, can I answer now? Now, you cannot answer. Why? Because now we need second operand value. Sir, if B is non-zero, the result will be 1. But if B is 0, the result will be 0. So the result could be 0 or 1 depending upon the value of B. So now, is it possible that the compiler will never evaluate this in case the first operand is non-zero? No, sir. So what is short circuit? Short circuit evaluation, sir, it only happens when the first operand is 0 in case of logical AND operator. Don't think that if this is non-zero, then short circuit can be done. No, sir, not at all, sir. Not at all. So, I hope you must get to know how things are working. Sir, hash include stdio.h void main int x is equal to 10, y is equal to plus x and 0, printf %d comma x printf %d comma y. Sir, now try to understand. Sir, what is this? Sir, compiler will first come to evaluate this. But what is this? Sir, this is a pre-increment operation. Sir, what does pre-increment says? First increment the value, then use it. That means this statement can be divided into two parts. Firstly, x equal to x plus 1 happen. Then y is equal to x and 0. Okay, let's try to figure it out. Sir, previously x was 10 and we have y. When you perform x equal to x plus 1, the value of x is incremented by 1 and it becomes 11. Now, if we perform y is equal to x and 0, it is non-zero and it is 0. Sir, if any one of them is 0, what is the output? 0 is stored inside y. So what is the output? Sir, output will be 11 and 0. Done. Surely it is done. But on the other hand, let me take another example so that hash include stdio.h void main int x equal to 10, y is equal to x plus plus and 0, printf %d x comma y. Okay, sir, compiler will first go at this operand. Okay, but what is this post increment? What does post increment say? First use the value and then increment. That means this statement can be divided into two statements. First use the value of variable on which post increment is done and then increase the value. Okay, done. Sir, how does that matter? Try to understand. Sir, x, what is the value of x? 10 and 0. What is the value that gets stored inside y? 0. And later on, x is incremented from 10 to 11. So what is the output? Sir, 11 and 0. But where that value get incremented? After this expression. First, the value 10 is used inside this. Then it is incremented by 1. So that's all about logical and short circuit property. Let's come to logical OR operator. logical OR operator. Okay. Sir, what does it says? Logical OR. So the output will be 1 if at least one of them is non-zero. Okay. Let's try to understand. If I say 10 or B, what is the result? Sir, if 1 is non-zero, if first operand is non-zero, do I need to know the value of B to find out the answer? No, sir. Even if it is 0, the answer will be still 1. Even if it is non-zero, the answer will be 1. So, try to understand, do I need to know the value of second operand if the first operand is non-zero? No, sir. That means, think like compiler. Sir, A or B, what is the result? Sir, if this is non-zero, if first operand is non-zero, then do I need to know this value to find out the output? No, sir. If this is non-zero, the result will be surely non-zero. Why? Because OR operator says either of them, at least one of them is non-zero, the result will be non-zero. So even if B is non-zero, does not affect the result. Even if B is 0, it does not affect the result. So we do not need to know what is the value of B. And if we do not need to know, will compiler ever evaluate it? Will compiler ever go to it? Why to waste the time? If I get to know that at least one of them is true, at least one of them is non-zero, why should compiler go to the second operand? Then compiler will never go to second operand. This is called as short circuit for OR. Sir. If I will say printf %d 12 or 0. Sir, what is the answer? Since it is non-zero, the result will be true and output would be 1. That means 1. Sir, 12 or anything. Sir, the output would be 1. Done, sir. Why? Because if first one is non-zero, why should I evaluate the second one? Because OR operator says at least one of them is non-zero, and by looking at the first operand, compiler gets to know, okay, at least one of them is non-zero. Why should I check for second one? So that's the short circuit property for OR gate. So try to understand now. Sir, void main int x equal to 10, y is equal to 0, z is equal to x or plus y, printf %d comma x comma y comma z. Just pause the video, think for few seconds, and please try to find out the answer of this question. Just pause the video for 5 to 10 seconds and try to find out the answer of this question. Sir, what are the initial values of x, y and z? The initial value of x is 10. The initial value of y is 0 and z has a garbage value. Okay. Sir, when compiler evaluated, it goes to first operand. What is the value of first operand? 10. Is it non-zero? Yes, sir, it is non-zero. Will compiler ever go to this? No, sir. That means this will never happen. Whether it is pre or post, compiler will never go to this. By looking at this, compiler says, okay, since it is non-zero, the result is, or the statement is true, that is why the result is 1. So what is the value that goes inside Z? Sir, the value that goes inside Z is 1. Y remain as it is. So what are the values, sir? 10, 0 and 1. So it never matters whether it is pre-increment or post-increment. If first operand is non-zero, compiler will never ever evaluate second operand. Compiler will never go to the second operand. So in GATE, these kind of questions can be asked where short circuit along with modify operators is used. And you need to be very careful. You need to be very careful while solving these type of question. First, we have the concept of pre and post. Always try to divide it into two parts. Whether if it is pre-increment, first increase it, then use it. If it is post-increment, first use it, then increase it. Then short circuit, what does short circuit says? If it is AND, if it is logical and first operand is 0, then don't go to second operand. If it is logical OR and the first operand is non-zero, then don't go to the second operand. So short circuit property depends upon the value of first operand, whether it is logical AND, whether it is logical OR. Sir, when we should not go for second operand in case of AND, if the first operand is 0. Sir, in case of logical OR, when we will not go to the second operand, when the first operand is non-zero. So that's all about the short circuit property, the short circuit evaluation for logical AND and logical OR. Bye-bye, take care.